Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forest. Grab yourself a glass of water or a cup of tea and spend the next few minutes with me. And like I always tell you, don't believe everything you hear. Check your facts and do your own research. And as soon as the butterflies bring us on in, we'll get started. Don't you want to know what my butterflies are saying? Don't you want to know what my butterflies are talking? What? I am Pelenta, and this is Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forest. Hey everybody, what's up? What's going on? How are you doing? How's life been treating you? Well, hopefully in the midst of the turmoil that's happening in the world, life is still treating you pretty good. I have lots and lots of cool stuff to talk to you about this evening, so I am going to get right to it. So, first of all, I came across something really interesting in the news that I would like to talk about, and the headline read, I'm having a flashback. The headline read, "These are the worst of times." Remember that? My lemur? I have to find a name for my lemur. I think I might name him Charlie Lemur. Anyway, this is a really cool article that I came across. And the headline says, State of Oregon legally recognizes a third gender. And it is called non-binary. Or binary. I've never seen that word in my life, so I may or may not be pronouncing it correctly. But anyway, that means that you don't identify as a man or a woman. Now, this case just went to the courts of the state of Oregon, and this gentleman and his lawyer have made history because this has never before happened in the United States of America. So let me tell you a little bit about this. But first of all, let me ask you, because I know there is so much going on with LGBTQ and everything with the transgender world and reassignment surgery and things like that. I often wonder how many people that claim to be heterosexual feel like they're 100% woman or 100% man, because you know that you have women out there such as myself. I'm a woman, but I'm also very tomboyish. I like to get dirty, I like to paint, ride a motorcycle, plant a garden, do all kinds of man stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm still a very feminine woman. So there's no confusion there. And then there's also men that like flowers, they plant a garden, they manscape, they do their nails, they get real pretty for you. But at the end of it all, they're still a man and they're really comfortable with that. So I often wonder how many straight people just can kind of relate to not identifying with being a man or a woman just because they're who they are and they're just comfortable in their skin. That's all I mean by that, people. So don't read too much into what I just said, okay? Moving right along. This young man's name is Jamie Shupe, and he was born a male, of course. He's been married to a woman. According to the article I read, don't know if it's all true or not, but he's been married to a woman, 29 years. They've raised a daughter together. And he's a 52-year-old retired Army tank mechanic. And he left the military 3 years ago. And he began partial transition. He took hormones and he grew breast. But according to this article, he hasn't fully transitioned due to the lack of funds. So now that he is stuck in this place, he went to court and he basically said, look, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I'm somewhere in between. And that's how I want to be addressed. He got an attorney. His attorney wanted to make a name for himself, thought it was a great case. They tried it and they won. And Germany, India, and Indonesia are recognizing this now, and they're totally okay with it. And also, there is another case of I don't know if this is a man or a woman because it didn't specify, but Dana Ziyim was born intersexed. Now, in case you don't know what intersexed means, intersexed is where you look like a male on the outside, but on the inside, you have female anatomy. And then you could also look like a female on the outside, but then on the inside, you have male anatomy. And you could also have, I wouldn't say deformed genitalia, but you might have a vagina that is lacking the opening. You would have an unusually small penis, and you would also have a divided scrotum. So now there's another case that's pending right now, and it's a Navy veteran is fighting for accommodations with the birth certificate issue, because when this person was born, their birth certificate, where it says male or female, it was actually left blank. So now there's a passport issue. So this case, this person is asking for, accommodations to get this resolved. So now here we are moving into another, sex, gender issue that you're going to hear about a whole lot more, because I just found this out today. I won't even say by accident, because if I'm talking about it here on the show, sharing it with you, it's obviously meant for me to talk about it and share it with you. But intersexed is also a term that's used for a variety of conditions when a person is born with reproductive or sexual anatomy that doesn't seem to fit the typical definitions of a male or a female. So if you're interested, or if you're not interested, this is something that interests me like crazy, like everything does that I talk about on my show. So I will definitely be talking about this a little bit more. And another thing that I want to talk about, that I've been wanting to talk about for the last couple of weeks now, is our coral reefs. I don't know if you even know what a coral reef is. I just so happened to come across this article, and it says here that scientists find 35% coral death in parts of Great Barrier Reef. Now check this out. I love doing that. So, first of all, let me tell you what coral bleaching is. Coral bleaching is when water is too warm, okay? And the corals will expel the algae living in their tissues, causing the coral to turn completely white. So that's what coral bleaching is. And just so you know, the loss of coral reefs could actually threaten the livelihood of over 500 million people. Do you know how many people that is? 500 million? 500 million people would be displaced. In places that are already in areas of high poverty, like Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines, they'll have nowhere to go. I mean, just there alone, we are talking about 130 million people. Can you imagine? It's like you wake up one morning and all of a sudden you have 130 million homeless people. Just like that. Where are they going to go? That is how important coral reefs are. And because it's like we sit around and we live our lives and everything just flows perfectly like it's supposed to flow. Everything just flows like a river, right into place. But then we don't think about, like, we need bees. If we don't have bees, the human race ceases to exist. We need trees for oxygen. You know, we take all these things for granted until we come across an article about it, and then we think, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? We gotta save the whales, you know, stuff like that. So coral reefs are also known as the rainforest of the sea. Now, you remember on one of my episodes, I can't remember which one, I can't keep track of them all, that's your job, but remember one of my episodes I told you that rainforest, I think it's responsible for maybe 20% of the planet's oxygen. 20% might not seem like a lot, but it is a lot. So, getting back to this, coral reefs are also known as the rainforest of the sea. So let me tell you what purpose that the coral reefs serve. I'm going to give you 6 quick reasons here, and this is really, really interesting. So let's just say number 1, fishing and tourism economy. That's one, because they house fish, animals, shelled organisms, and other sea creatures, okay? And they also help air quality by dissolving carbon dioxide in the ocean to form new reefs, okay? Now, the gas conversion to limestone shell actually controls the carbon dioxide levels in the ocean. And it also helps out with the food web, because without the coral reefs in the ocean, several thousands of species wouldn't have a home or food. And it would literally be a domino effect of death. You remember when we were kids and the Looney Tunes cartoons would come on, and remember you would see that little fish swimming, and then a bigger fish would come and gobble it up, and it'd be all smiling, and then another fish would come and gobble that one up, and then a bigger one would come and gobble that one up, and it would just go on and on and on and on until the biggest fish came and gobbled it up, and then here came this great big old whale. Well, it's the same thing here. So it would literally be a domino effect of death, and it wouldn't happen quickly, but slowly but surely all fish would slowly die, because their food source would be gone, you know. And the coral reefs are also good for erosion control, because without the coral reefs, now check this out, this is really cool. Without the coral reefs, the ocean's current, it is so incredibly powerful that it could easily erode all the beaches and the shorelines. So see, what happens is when a wave strikes the reefs, the water is slightly redirected and slowed down to preserve the shoreline. That's amazing. So see, coral reefs, we don't hear about it every day. We don't talk about it over breakfast, but it plays a very, very important part in keeping our planet safe. It's kind of like a silent partner, you know. And also, we also make medicines from coral. And this is something that I thought was really amazing, because I had absolutely no idea about this. But modern medicine uses the rainforest and coral reefs to expand on life-saving drugs. Without reefs, the flora and fauna necessary for some cancer-fighting drugs would not be available. Now, who would have thought that coral reefs and the rainforest help us make medicine to fight and prevent cancer? Isn't that amazing? See how great nature is? We live on an amazing, wonderful planet. Our planet is our best friend and our best chance of survival. We need to rally together and treat it better. You know, so it's crucial that we keep these reefs healthy, you know, so we can derive medicines for human, for human survival. It's just absolutely amazing. So, so let's see. So, like what this article says here, that that bleaching isn't the same as a coral death, which is good news. But the coral bleaching is a whole new ball game, because this bleaching event is the third and worst, and it's got such a terrible strike on the Great Barrier Reef. So the question now is, when are we going to get the fourth and the fifth bleaching event? And also, will there be enough time for us to recover? So see, when we hear about the oil spills and things like that polluting our ocean, it's not just it's not just hurting the wildlife that's in the ocean, it's also hurting the coral reefs, the sand in there, the rocks. It's just all kinds of things. It's actually destroying. So we have really got to get a handle on this. Well, let me see. What else do I want to tell you about? Okay, well, here's a cool article. Volkswagen just opened a brand new facility in Rocklin. So Volkswagen Group of America will formally open its Pacific Northwest Parts Distribution Center in Rocklin. So they just had a ribbon cutting ceremony involving various Volkswagen officials, and they plan to lease about 70% of a 200,000 square foot Class A industrial building at the site from a San Diego-based Westcore property. But the building was constructed in 1998, and now officials say that the Rocklin site will support nearly 100 Volkswagen and Audi dealers in California and also 5 other states. So that's really good news, because you know that we need jobs. People want to work, and they really need jobs. And last but not least, this is for you animal lovers out there. You can now include your pets in your family emergency plan. So you have tornadoes, hurricanes, fires, floods, and earthquakes. There are few places on Earth that are not vulnerable to one or more of these disasters. Well, we've learned from countless disasters that people will often put their own lives at risk, and the lives of first responders as well, if there are no options for relocating their animal companions. See, animals play such an important part in our lives, especially you animal lovers. I'm telling you, people that aren't into animals and they just see animals as food or a sport to hunt and kill unnecessarily and all this kind of stuff, they don't feel the same way, okay? But people that love their animals and they're big time animal lovers, let me tell you something, they will kill you if you try to separate them from their animal, okay? That pet is their best friend, their companion. For a lot of elderly people, that little dog or cat or bird or pig or rat, whatever you have that you love, that you're connected to, no. Now you can include pets in your family emergency plan. And that is fabulous, fabulous news. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show for the evening. Next episode, I have lots of other cool stuff to share with you. So, as usual, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go to my website and get my book, Angels Passing Through, PelentaForrest.com. And on that note, I am so very grateful for everything, and I am grateful for you too. We're going to get out of here with my favorite tune, One Love. Yes, we are. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you, beautiful, smashingly beautiful people, next time on Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forest. And God bless you all. Good night.